The cops showed up because I locked my own backyard gate. And the woman screaming that I was destroying community harmony? The same Karen who had turned my private pool into her personal summer block party without a single word of permission. My name is Ethan Brooks. I'm a civil engineer who spent 15 years designing bridges in noisy cities before my wife Sarah and I decided our daughter Lily deserved something quieter. Oakwood Grove seemed perfect, manicured lawns. A sparkling community pool everyone paid dues for. And that suburban silence that promised peace. I should have known better. In places like this, silence isn't peace. It's just everyone holding their breath, waiting for the next violation notice. I'd only been there 6 weeks when I added the gate. Nothing fancy, just a simple iron one that connected my backyard directly to the shared pool walkway. I built the whole thing myself on a Saturday. Paid for every bolt. And made sure the survey pins confirmed it sat 3 feet inside my property line. Convenience. That's all it was. A way for Lily to run straight to the water without walking around the long way. The first time Karen Whitaker knocked, she was all smiles and pastel cardigan. President of the Oakwood Grove HOA. She informed me, as if the title came with a crown. Ethan. Welcome. I'm Karen. Just dropping off the rules binder. Her eyes flicked past me to the new gate before the words even left her mouth. Oh, I see you've made some improvements. The pool area is communal. You know, private access points can be tricky. I smiled politely. It's on my deeded property. Karen. Surveys on file at the county. Her laugh was light. Practiced. Of course. Of course. We're all neighbors here. Family. Really? The smile never reached her eyes. That should have been my warning. A few Saturdays later I pulled into the driveway and heard it before I even killed the engine, bass thumping. Kids shrieking. Adult laughter rolling over my fence like a tidal wave. Balloons. My balloons. Tied to my gate. Wet footprints tracked across my new sod. Strangers lounging in the chairs I bought. And right in the middle of it all, Karen Whitaker in a giant sun hat. Oversized sunglasses. And a drink in her hand. Holding court like a queen who'd just conquered a small nation. I walked through my own back gate and stood there for a second. Taking it in. Someone had dragged my cooler out and was handing out my sodas like party favors. Ethan. You made it. Karen called. Waiting like we'd planned this. Community Appreciation Day. I thought your little setup here would be perfect, more private. Better vibe. I kept my voice even. This is my backyard. Karen. My pool. My chairs. My cooler. She tilted her head. The smile sharpening. Technically the walkway access makes it shared amenity space. Sweetie. The bylaws are very clear. We're all contributing to the greater good. Behind her, a kid did a cannonball that splashed half my deck. Another neighbor I'd never met was grilling burgers on my propane tank. I looked around at the 30-plus people treating my property like public parkland and felt something cold settle in my chest. Not anger yet. Just the quiet click of understanding exactly what kind of person I was dealing with. I didn't yell. I didn't call the cops that day. I simply started cleaning up after they left, because they did leave. Eventually. Laughing and waving like they'd done me a favor. Karen was the last one out. She paused at the gate. Clipboard tucked under her arm. Next time let me know if you want to host. Ethan. We can put it on the official calendar. She actually winked. That night I installed a solid deadbolt on the gate and locked it for the first time. The next morning there was a bright yellow violation notice taped to my front door. $250 for restricting access to communal amenities. Signed by Karen Whitaker, HOA president. She'd even drawn a little smiley face at the bottom. Sarah read it over my shoulder and sighed. Just pay it, Ethan. It's not worth the war. But I'd already seen the look in Karen's eyes. This wasn't about a gate. This was about control. And people like her only stop when someone finally says no, and means it. The next weeks were a masterclass in suburban psychological warfare. First came the whispers. Neighbors who used to wave now crossed the street. Harold from 2 doors down, the retired accountant who'd warned me about Karen on day 1, stopped making eye contact entirely. At the mailbox cluster, I overheard Karen telling a small group that I was hostile to community values and had anger issues. Someone even suggested I might be a danger to the kids. Then the inspections started. Routine, they called them. 3 board members showed up unannounced with cameras and measuring tapes, photographing my fence, my grill, even the height of my grass, which was exactly to code. Karen stood in my backyard like she owned the mortgage. You understand we have to document everything, she said sweetly while one of her lackeys snapped photos of my locked gate. For liability reasons. I pulled out my phone and started recording without a word. When she noticed the red light, her smile twitched. Is that really necessary, Ethan? Apparently it is, I replied calmly. Since we're all about documentation now. The fines multiplied like rabbits. Improper gate hardware. Unauthorized landscaping within 3 feet of the communal walkway. Visual pollution, my American flag was apparently half an inch too large. Each one more creative than the last. The neighborhood forum lit up with anonymous posts about certain residents causing division. Everyone knew who they meant. I stayed quiet. I smiled at the grocery store. I waved back when people remembered to wave. But every night I sat by the pool with my laptop. Building a file. Deed. Survey. County records. The clause on page 37 of the governing documents that explicitly stated any structure on a private non-common parcel remained under sole owner control. My parcel. My gate. And then the envelope arrived. No return address. Just slid under my door at 2 a.m. Inside were printed emails, internal HOA threads with Karen's name all over them. Continue issuing violations on Brooks property, small ones add up to pressure. He'll crack and sell eventually. Use community funds for the appreciation events, no one checks the receipts anyway. One particularly charming line, authority must be seen to be respected. Make examples. There were also invoices. Karen had been funneling HOA money into special events that looked suspiciously like her personal parties, including catering charges from the exact weekend she invaded my pool. Over $60,000 in 2 years. Nice work if you can get it. I didn't confront her. I called a lawyer. I called the county auditor. And I waited. The breaking point came on a bright Thursday afternoon. Karen showed up with 2 board members and a sheriff's deputy she'd clearly sweet-talked in advance. She stood at my gate in full performance mode, clipboard raised like a scepter. Voice carrying across 3 yards. Ethan. This has gone on long enough. Open the gate or we'll have to take further action for the safety of the community. I stepped outside. Folder in hand. Karen. This gate is on my private property. You've been trespassing, harassing, and misusing funds. I have the documents. Her laugh was brittle. Documents? Sweetie. The bylaws. I handed the deputy the survey and the highlighted governing documents. Page 37. Officer. Private non-common parcel. Owner retains sole rights. The deputy read it. then looked at Karen with new eyes. "Ma'am, this appears to be private property. You can't force entry." Karen's face went through a beautiful sequence of colors, first righteous pink, then shocked white, then an impressive shade of furious crimson. "He's manipulating the system. This is exactly why we need stronger enforcement." That's when I played the recording from my phone. Her voice came through crystal clear. "Continue issuing violations, he'll crack and sell, eventually use community funds." The silence that followed was exquisite. Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish. One of her board members suddenly found the clouds fascinating. The deputy took a step back, suddenly very interested in proper procedure. 2 weeks later, the county auditors descended on Oakwood Grove like quiet angels of reckoning. They found everything. The duplicate invoices. The events that were really Karen's wine nights. The pattern of targeted harassment against anyone who questioned her. Turns out I wasn't the first. Just the first who fought back with receipts. The emergency HOA meeting was mandatory. The room was packed. Karen stood at the front in her best blazer, pearls gleaming, trying to project control. But her hands were shaking. She opened with the usual script: misunderstandings, outside agitators, restoring order. I stood up. "Actually, Karen, I think it's time the community heard the truth." I passed around printed packets, timestamps, bank records. Her own words in black and white. Gasps rippled through the room. Someone whispered, "She used our dues for her daughter's graduation party?" Karen's voice cracked. "This is a witch hunt. I have dedicated years. Years of theft and bullying," I said quietly. Not angry. Just tired. "You called it community. The rest of us called it fear." The county officers entered right on cue. Suspension papers. Notice of investigation. The look on her face when they read the charges: financial misconduct, abuse of authority, civil trespass, was something I'll remember with quiet satisfaction for the rest of my life. She tried one last volley as they escorted her out. "You'll all regret this. I built this neighborhood." From the back, old Harold finally spoke up. "No, Karen. You just ruled it." The applause that followed wasn't loud. It was steady. Relieved. The sound of people remembering they were neighbors, not subjects. 6 months later. Oakwood Grove feels different. The new board actually listens. Fines dropped 80%. People wave again. Lily swims in the pool every evening. And sometimes I leave the gate unlocked on purpose, just because I can. Karen's house went on the market 3 weeks after the audit. Last I heard, she moved to a condo downtown. No HOA. Funny how that works. I still sit by the pool some nights, watching the water reflect the string lights. The same pool that nearly cost me my sanity became the thing that reminded me of a simple truth: real community isn't enforced by clipboards and threats. It's built on respect and the willingness to defend your boundaries when someone tries to steal them while smiling. So tell me, folks watching from wherever you are tonight, drop your city and country in the comments. Was I wrong for locking my own gate on my own property? Or was Karen the real villain hiding behind community standards the entire time? Because from where I'm sitting, the only thing more dangerous than a Karen with power is a neighborhood that lets her keep it. What do you think? Was locking the gate the crime? Or was the real crime letting one woman turn an entire neighborhood into her personal kingdom? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single one.